Now that's my absolute dream car. It's a Mercedes SLC350 from '73, which I restored from looking like this to this without any experience. And that is probably the reason why it has taken me for 7 years and it's still not finished. But next summer I'm gonna do the most epic road trip ever, 6,000 kilometers around Europe with this car, so we better get this ready.
This car was basically the luxurious and sporty S-Class coupe of its time. The SLC was a coupe version of the famous SL Roadster. It had 4 seats, it was 36 centimeters longer than the SL, and of course it had the roof. Back in the day, these cars were driven by famous people like Elvis Presley and Steve Jobs, which for me adds to the coolness level of this car. It was a really advanced car at the time, the design was timeless, and you have the iconic Mercedes badge on the front just like on the Gullwing. And for me, it's the most beautiful car ever made.
Now this right here is a part from that car. It's actually this whole rear section, and as you can see now it's like perfect. You have all the factory seams and there's no filler. It is looking like brand new. Now this is what it used to be. So the whole car basically was in this shape. I mean, check this out. You don't have to be a car expert to tell that this is quite bad. And all of this was full of filler, so I couldn't see these holes or this rust before we blasted the car. And as you can see from here, it has some really bad repairs, some silicone and stuff like that. But since I didn't have any experience with working on old cars, I just thought that, okay, that's a little rusty, no big deal, we're gonna change that and I'm gonna just cut it out and fix it and sand it down and it will be good. But little did I know that it would take so much time to get all of this out, to replace it with new ones, and how freaking expensive that turned out to be. So let me try to explain how this car went from this to this, looking like brand new again. And I'm going to try make this long story really short, so let me explain.
I was 17 when I got this car. I was so proud. It was the first car that I ever bought, and my plan was to make it a bit nicer and then drive it when I got my license. And as you can hear from this clip, there were some issues, like the exhaust was cut from the middle and there was something wrong with the idle, but nothing too serious. And as you can see from my face, I was pretty excited. When I started to fix those small issues, I noticed something bigger. The engine block was cracked and it was leaking coolant. So of course, being a man of action, I started to take the car apart, knowing absolutely nothing what to do. My friends probably thought that I had lost my mind at this point, but I had a clear vision that this would be a sick car one day. And by the way, that block turned into a nice coffee table. One day I saw this video of a Porsche 911 being restored, and then it hit me. Being a smart 18-year-old guy with little to no experience in restoring cars, I decided that my Mercedes needs to be fully restored. So I took the car fully apart, rented a glass blasting machine for one day and blasted the whole car. And let me tell you that you have no idea how badly rusted a car can be. But knowing absolutely nothing about what I was getting into helped me to think that it was possible to do. I got to borrow a workshop that my dad's friend had. For months, my neighbor would come after his work to help me with my project and to teach me so many things about fabrication. I'm so grateful for those moments, and only now I realize how much effort it took from him to help me with a project like this. Some of the most difficult and visible parts were made by professionals because we wanted the best result possible. At this point, I knew I was going to keep this car forever with me. So I saved a bunch of money for the paintwork because that was the one thing that needed to be perfect. I found this really talented painter who made the preparation and the painting for me. The preparation took more than 200 hours of work, but it was so worth it. The car became insanely good out of the paint booth. Me and my dad managed to source a new engine block since the old one was unusable. I then sent all of the engine parts to my dad's friend who knows a thing or two about engines, and he had them machined and assembled. The outcome was better than new. From there, the endless sanding, painting, and refurbishing all of the parts began. I have done thousands of hours of work in the places that you will never see, but for me, that is the most important thing. I know that this car has been made by me, for me, to the absolute best I can. And it tells a story about working hard and patience for the rest of my life. I got so much help from my friends, my brother, my dad, and without them, this car wouldn't be what it is today.
So I hope you liked that history lesson from this car and the story. It was really fun to look all the old photos and how it all went down. So the reason I made this video was to, of course, have the memory for myself. But also I think I get more motivation to finish this car for the road trip if I make these videos from here and there. So we could go and have a look what needs to be done still. And then on the next episode we can get working on with this car. So first things first. On the front, well, there's some cooling system cleaner now inside the engine. So I need to drain the fluids and put coolant there. Now it's just water and the cleaning solution. And then I need to change the oils because these were the startup oils. So I need to do that. That's an easy thing. On the front, on both sides, I need to install the fender liners and also do some oiling on the fenders on the inside so it doesn't rust again. And also I need to install these splash guards there. So they're like blocking all of the water and stuff from getting past this point onwards. That has to be done. These lower trims need to be installed. They need to be screwed from here. The windshield wipers are missing because I kind of destroyed them with the glass blasting. I can show you. So yeah, this needs to be sanded and painted or polished or whatever. So we can put that on to the car again. There are some interior stuff here. These are the splash guards that I was just talking about. I need to make some seals here. I made these from plastic because the original metal ones cost like, I don't know, 80 euros per piece. So this is good enough for me. This car will never see the rain again. The door needs to be lined up perfectly. And then we need to drill holes for this trim right here. I bought the whole set for this car, so I have everything. These kind of small details, they're all brand new and they also have these protective things on them still, so that will be like new. The rear brake, I just changed the caliper because it was leaking. I need to bleed that one. What else? This one is kind of annoying. When we changed all of this metal because it was all rusted away, we welded it a bit too much on this side. So now if I put the chrome here, it doesn't line up with this one. It comes to around here. So I need to find a way to modify these brackets to bend them or something like that so that the chrome will line up with this one. That will be a really annoying thing to do. I know that already. Then on the interior, door cards need to be installed. Some things for these pillars.
I already have them. There are some things with this new carpet that I already installed, which is actually like one of my favorite things about this car. That needs to be like velcroed down so you can remove it or it will stay on its place. That's a small thing. I would need to wash all of the seats. The seats are right here. They are in good condition. I already installed some new speakers for the car and old looking radio. That's actually a modern one with Bluetooth and stuff like that. I need to install the badges. I need to make the sound insulation for the trunk. And also I need to make some sort of covers here like carpets and stuff like that. So that will be one thing. These are the fender liners. I need to find some covers for these ones. This side lines pretty good from here, as you can see. That's nice. Here we need to drill the holes. Here we need to attach the trim. We have some seat belts. I have some pieces of the interior that are like in really bad shape. They are bent and I think I'm gonna redo these. Then what else? I have some plastic for the doors, so I can glue some plastic here before I put the door cards on, so that way the moisture doesn't come from inside the door to the door panels. So I need to remove also this one and put the plastics in. About the door cards, here we have the driver's side pocket or whatever. The fabric inside the pocket was like really nasty, so I took it out. So we need to glue some new fabric here. That way it will be nicer to touch it. Oh yeah, the engine. So on the engine side everything is kind of good, just the fluid change, but I need to find someone who knows everything about these engines. There's this knob on the ECU of the car, and that basically adjusts the leanness or the richness of this engine, how it's running. Because I had the ECU out with all of the wires, I think I may have turned that to one way or another. So I would basically need some kind of old school mechanic who knows everything about these to adjust the idle and the leanness or the richness of the engine to the perfect spec. That needs to be sorted because I want to be 100% sure that it runs perfectly. I think now it's a bit too rich, but I don't know. We will see when we find some guy who knows about that stuff. And then I should install a sound insulation on the hood. That's an easy one. What else? Oh yeah, I have like one of the most annoying things ever here. These rubber things on the sills. You need to glue these, and you know that rubber is like this and you have this curve there, and it is the most difficult thing ever and most time consuming stuff ever to get contactive adhesive here on both sides and not to overdo it. And then I should press this somehow with the clamp here and to like fix it, because this rubber is kind of tough, so it really needs some pressure to keep it down. That will be annoying, but it has to be done. And then we need some seals here. I already have them, but they need to be glued. I hate gluing stuff. Then here we need to put some foam piece here and a chrome cover here, so that will look all nice and finished. That's not too big of a deal, but you have to glue the seal first. So all in all, there is not that much to be left done, but all of those tiny little things just take so much time. So it's a good amount of work, I would say, to get this finished. But yeah, on the next video I think we're gonna start by doing the fluids here, because then I'm leaving for a 7-week trip to Indonesia, do some surfing. So we need to change the coolants because it might get freezing here in my garage, because I don't want to heat this all. It's very, very expensive if you're not working here, and
you know, electricity costs very much. But on the next one, we will start working with this, and yeah, please let me know if you're interested in these classic car stuffs, and if there's something you want to know about the car, or how I've done something, or anything, leave a comment below and I can talk about it, I can show it, I can do it, whatever. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you liked this. Stay tuned for the next one. Thank you, bye.